Yo, what's going on? This is Valoramous. Welcome to the beautiful island of Tonga, the city of Nuka Alofa, which means the city of love in the local Tongan language here. Coming at you from the South Pacific, and I figured I would shoot a quick video while I'm out here on vacation. And in today's talk, I would like to discuss a little bit about consistency and discipline when it comes to achieving a breakthrough with your music, or really any creative endeavor or any endeavor period, such as a career, building wealth, building a skill set, etc. So when it comes to making music, you must understand that this is going to be a long battle ahead of you. It is going to be a 10-round slugfest and not some Mike Tyson uppercut, one-punch knockout. That is the lottery ticket. That is definitely a rarity. That is the exception. But when it comes to the tip of the iceberg theory, where it takes about 10 years to become an overnight success, those 10 years of foundation laying, of building, that's going to be below the surface, that's subsurface. You don't actually see a lot of that work when that happens, whenever someone, an artist, achieves a breakthrough. So you only see that tip of that iceberg. So how are you going to get there is going to be through consistency, discipline. Consistently putting out music, you have discipline to continue to practice your craft. Now, if you don't have discipline, I'm going to give you a few pointers on how you can develop discipline. Number one, you need to develop a set schedule. If you don't have a set schedule and you're waking up at any hour of the day, or maybe you are forced to wake up for a regular 9-to-5 job, you need to make use of the time that you have and develop a consistent, methodical schedule. A rigid schedule may sound boring, but that's really where the sausage is made. That's really where the magic happens. So by maintaining a consistent schedule and predictable schedule, you're going to be able to stack hours in terms of building up your skill set and putting hours to perfect your craft. So, in my opinion, it's best to work in blocks of time. So if you have several tasks you can do throughout the week, allocate 2 hours for this track, 2 hours for that track, 2 to 4 hours for practicing DJing. Don't be doing 30 minutes there, 30 minutes here, taking a break, coming back, and doing 15 minutes on something else. By developing this schedule, you will be able to find blocks of time to focus on a particular endeavor, whether that's social media, music production. In my case, I also allocate time to video creation, practicing DJing, marketing and branding, etc. If you're fully independent, you probably will do a lot of these things, but the number one skill set at the foreground should be that music production, so you need to allocate as much time as possible for actually producing music. That's where your magic happens as an artist, is being able to produce tracks. Now, how do I do this? I actually have a monthly schedule on paper. I'm a little bit old school, but I look at every month, and then I am already at the beginning of that month, on, say it's Sunday afternoon, already inputting where I am going to make the best use of my time. So if I know if I have attendance at a wedding, or if I know I have a business trip or a vacation plan, or I'm going to be visiting family, or I have a festival or a gig I'm going to do, that's time that's actually blocked off for what I would call like black periods, where I know I'm not going to be able to put in work into my craft. And then if you have a job and you exercise and you have time for personal hygiene and meals, things like that, that is also time that's going to be already allocated. So then what that leaves you remaining is going to be this white space, and you must make consistent and dedicated use of that white space and not be tempted by distractions such as social media or going out drinking or going out partying or clubbing. You need to input this stuff on the calendar, because once you put it on the calendar, then it becomes like a contract between you and yourself that you are going to show up and input these 2 hours into practicing time as a DJ or practicing skills as a music producer. So at the beginning of the month, input these appointments into your calendar, and in my opinion, you need to make at least 5 to 15 hours per week for music production. If you can't do that, you're probably not going to have enough hours in order to make this happen in the long run. Because in order to achieve 10,000 hours, you must be putting in about 20 hours of music production per week, and 20 hours times 50 weeks is about 1,000 hours, and then 1,000 hours for 1 year times 10 years. That's how long it would take you to get those 10,000 hours, and that's what the subsurface of the tip of the iceberg. So if you can develop this habit of inputting tasks and your creative sessions and your work sessions into your calendar as appointments, then if something comes up during the month, you won't be tempted to cancel or flake on yourself. Instead, you will tell your friends or whoever is asking for your time, no, sorry, but I have this appointment on my calendar, this is what I'm doing at this time. Now, I'm not saying don't have fun, you should allocate time for fun as well too, but that should be something that you reward yourself with and not a habit, as a lot of folks just kind of whimsically go about life, and at best they work a 9-to-5 job, and health and nutrition and exercise take a back seat, and they're certainly not doing anything creative after hours. So get this calendar, and then you're basically giving yourself a contract. You make this calendar, and that's how you can begin to develop discipline. Now, other ways to develop discipline is going to be to track your progress throughout time. This will help give validity to why you're doing what you're doing, because if you take a step back and realize, no, I'm not doing this for nothing, I have actually improved throughout time. How far I've come, maybe you check your Spotify for Artists account, and you can see the stats, and over the course of about 5 years, you gradually see those numbers going up. That's going to give you more fuel to your fire to ignite your creativity and give you the perfect reason for continuing on this disciplined and consistent path. So other tips to become more disciplined would be to really absorb the lessons from your day job or from your daily lives. So for example, if you were a manager in an office space setting, you were probably already learning lessons on how to manage people, how to manage tasks, how to maintain a disciplined schedule, how not to dilly-dally, how not to waste time, how to drive a project towards completion. And I would really take those lessons to heart and apply that to your creative endeavor as a DJ and producer. Now, there's something in project management circles called the Project Management Professional Certification, PMP. That is another tool that you can use from a corporate setting to then apply to your skills as a DJ producer and overall manager of an independent career of you as an artist. So project management skills helps me because I'm able to use tracking boards to assess the status of all the tracks that I'm currently working on and creating. And then I know I have foresight, I have vision on how to bring those tracks to completion. I have discipline, I have follow. So I really recommend you take skills from corporate settings and day job, standard work environments, and apply those to your career as an independent music producer or DJ. And if you do it right, you will have the discipline to be consistently releasing tracks throughout the year. I think it's best to release about 6 to 10 tracks per year. Anything more than that, at least for me, it becomes too stressful. Anything less than that, it should become a little bit not relevant. But by maintaining this consistent schedule and by incorporating lessons from your day job or source of regular employment, you can then begin to create some lift-off as a DJ virtual producer. And in my case, I started off like everyone at 0 monthly listeners on Spotify, and I've gradually grown to several thousand. And yes, of course, every time I release a track, there might be a spike in monthly listeners, and then it'll taper off and decline. But when I take a step back and look at the big picture, I realize that no, this graph on Spotify for Artists is gradually increasing throughout time. And even though there's some dips, those are natural just in the stock market, you're going to see a rebound. And then when you take a step back and zoom out, you realize, no, you started down here, now you're over here. So that is really a decade. There's going to be some volatility. Okay, so we talked about calendar. We talked a little about project management skills. We talked about potentially creating a tracking board which will help you manage the completion of your songs throughout time. Other ways to develop discipline is to listen to motivational videos. Sometimes I'll listen to motivational content, and that'll help me be focused or remain on track, because it's very easy to talk yourself out of what you're doing and or take a pessimistic approach. Oh, I'm putting in all this work, it's not really working out. But a lot of folks, they have that 10-year or 10,000-hour grind before anything really happens. So if you are consistent with this throughout time, I firmly believe that you will be able to gain some traction eventually and then chart your own career field path in this industry. It doesn't have to necessarily be with an artist career. It can be through being a studio professional, helping others, through outsourcing your skills to third-party websites, you can effectively become an independent contractor. You can also pivot and start your own record label. Because if you are managing your own releases and self-releasing to a distributor and then marketing that release, you're going to have the skill sets to graphic design, video editing, strategy, managing social media, knowing those administrative details that go into packaging release and then commercializing that release. You're going to have all these skill sets in your tool bag. I would say do not be nervous if this is taking a lot longer than you think and it's not really going anywhere, because by skill stacking, it'll be that much easier to make a pivot at a later point. And then my final point is one on compound interest. Now, compound interest relates to finances and money, but it can also relate to your skills as a DJ producer. Now, it's often said that to achieve that first million is the hardest, and then achieving the second, third, and subsequent millions are actually easier. A lot of entrepreneurs use this. Saving your way to that first 100,000 is quite difficult, but then achieving the next 900,000 to your first million is actually a little bit easier because the hard work is done up front. So when you think you're spinning your wheels, understand that you're really not. You're just inputting a lot of this groundwork and foundational work to build a skill set which then can start to snowball later in your career. So if you're consistent with this throughout time and you have the appropriate discipline, yeah, you may be spinning your wheels for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but something eventually is going to happen. I firmly believe this either in year 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Eventually something's going to happen. You can either reassess and make a pivot, such as what I described earlier, running your own record label, outsourcing your skills, being a studio professional, being an independent contractor, writing music for others. But that foundational work is very important. And a lot of folks, they quit because it gets actually very, very difficult up front and very quickly. A lot of folks, they quit in that first 1 to 3 years. So if you get beyond that first 1 to 3 years, this has become much easier for you later on down the road. Now, achieving that 90% of professionalism as a music producer takes just as long as achieving that final 10%. In my case, I've achieved that first 90%. It's taken me the better part of 5 or 6 years, and it might take me a couple more years taking that last 10%, but I think this is going to start to snowball for me at a certain point where I'm going to lay so much foundation. I will put a lot of hours, thousands of hours, and this will start to accumulate and snowball, and that's when that compound interest is. So my name is Valoramous, and we're here on the island of Tonga in the South Pacific, Polynesia. And I just want to say, keep going, you got this, develop discipline, be consistent, and eventually compound interest will hit, and then you will be able to either achieve a breakthrough, or you will skill stack to an appropriate level to where you can then pivot